this video we will discuss how to resolve problems with a SmartLog appearing as inactive in the software. As explained in our installation video, SmartLog testers are generally attached to the program via the main landing screen, after you connect them via the Connected Devices Configuration option in the SLP configuration program. The status of a SmartLog may be adjusted in the Edit screen here. The basic active-inactive status is controlled by the program automatically. Whenever a device is connected, it will be active and it will be inactive otherwise. There are some other options that you may select if you want to manually disable a unit. Why would you want to do that? Well, you could have a situation where you sent a SmartLog in to be calibrated, for example, and since it is no longer physically on site, you can mark it as pending until it comes back and you reconnect it to your network. Please note that you cannot force the tester to be active by changing this field. You can change it to active and the status will show that on the SmartLog screen. But if you refresh the web page like this, you will see that it will go back to inactive status. The status will change to active on its own when the tester is detected and communicating. There are various reasons for showing an inactive status, such as the IP address assigned to the SmartLog is no longer authorized to communicate on the network, and your IT administrators need to allow it to pass through. You could have DNS issues where the API root address that was assigned on the SmartLog needs to be changed to reflect the IP address of the server instead of the server name. Whether you are unable to see a SmartLog and its location is unknown during the installation process, or you had added a SmartLog and location without a problem, and then sometime later you are finding that it is inactive, as shown here, the most common issue that can cause an inactive status and communication problems is not having the required ports used by the program and SmartLogs open for inbound and outbound communication. In order to access the backend database through a web page, ports 17200 and 17205 need to be allowed for inbound and outbound access. Also, all communication between the testers and the software is done through HTTP, which is generally port 80, so that will also need to be allowed through the firewall. These ports and their access or restrictions are something that will generally be handled by your IT department, and we recommend letting them know about these ports so they can make the necessary adjustments on the PC you will be using and on the network. This can sometimes involve network security policies at your company and may be complicated, so be sure to consult with your IT department for assistance. Let's look at an example of how to enable the required ports on the PC that the program is installed on. On this computer, the port restrictions are being handled by the Windows Defender firewall. Upon opening the firewall, you will see that there are options for inbound and outbound rules. You can select inbound rules and then click on New Rule on the right. Give your new rule a descriptive name to help you identify it in the future. I name mine the SLP Manager rule to keep it simple. In the Protocols and Ports section, you will have the ability to add the two port numbers 17200 and 17205 that are needed. TCP is the protocol type to use. After creating the inbound rule and saving it, you would then go to the Outbound Rules section and then add a new outbound rule for the same port numbers. You can see the outbound rule here. Once that's done, you may save it and exit the Windows Defender firewall. If you return to the SmartLog Pro Web Manager software and refresh the web page after a few minutes, the connected testers should now appear as active, as shown here. And if you were adding your SmartLog Pro to the software for the very first time and it was not finding it, you should now be able to see an unknown SmartLog and an unknown location appearing on the main screen that you can then attach to the program. For further information on resolving communication issues between the SmartLog and software, please contact the EMIT factory.